Here we go. Fixed expressions, 20 essential phrases, their meanings, and how to use them naturally in daily conversation. First one, at the drop of a hat, immediately, without any hesitation. So, first example, she would travel at the drop of a hat if given the opportunity, which means she would travel, she would get out of there and go to wherever she's going to go without hesitation and immediately. Bite the bullet. So, bullet, shoot. You shoot a bullet. So how do you bite the bullet? To endure a painful experience or face a difficult situation. Sometimes you just have to bite the bullet and make a tough decision. So next one. Cost an arm and a leg. What could that mean? Cost an arm and a leg. Like you go into a place and what? I'd like a hamburger. And they say, yes, it'll cost you one arm and a leg. What do you say? What do you want? The left leg? You want the right leg? So what it means is it's very expensive. So the new smartphone costs an arm and a leg. So obviously that's not literally an arm and a leg, because if it costs you an arm and a leg, you'd run out of currency really fast. So you wouldn't have much money. Next one, hit the sack. So to hit something is to strike something. A sack is like a sack of potatoes. But in this case, it's a bed, I guess. So you go to bed, you hit the sack. After a long day, I'm ready to hit the sack. You've had a long day, you've worked, you've studied, whatever you're doing. Now you're ready to go to bed. You're ready to hit the sack. Okay, let the cat out of the bag. A lot of bags going around here. You guys know what a cat is. Little feline friends. The bag. So why you would have a cat in a bag in the first place is a little suspect to begin with. I would never put a cat in a bag. Also, if you put a cat in the bag, likely whoever is watching will know that there's a cat in the bag, because cats do not like to be in bags usually, unless they're there themselves. Then they love it. So let the cat out of the bag is to reveal a secret unintentionally. So he let the cat out of the bag about the surprise party. So obviously, this lad did not want to tell anybody about the surprise party, but he obviously told the wrong person. So he let the secret out unintentionally. He let the cat out of the bag. Miss the boat. Well, if anybody has missed the boat, missed the plane, missed the train, it's a very sad thing, because you're watching the boat go away and you're sitting on shore where everybody else is on the boat. I don't know where you're going. Maybe on a cruise, maybe to Ellis Island, maybe to dive. I have no idea. But if you miss the boat, you miss an opportunity. So I didn't apply for the scholarship in time and missed the boat. I didn't apply for the scholarship in time and missed the boat. So in that sense, there was a scholarship available. I didn't apply, and then I missed this opportunity. So I'll no longer be able to apply for that scholarship until maybe next year. So maybe next year I won't miss the boat. Once in a blue moon. So a blue moon happens very infrequently. I think I'd have to look that up and figure out when a blue moon happens. Is it once every month? Is it once every 6 months? I don't remember. But it's very rarely. They visit us once in a blue moon. So these people, they only come around once in a blue moon. That means very rarely. I don't see them very often. So, maybe if you're really good friends, you see somebody every moon? I don't know how that goes. It's definitely not something that you say in English, though. But what you do say is once in a blue moon every once in a while. Once in a blue moon, you do say once in a blue moon. That is very rarely. It's a piece of cake. Something very easy. The exam was a piece of cake for her. Okay, so she took this exam. It was very easy. It was a piece of cake. Maybe they use that because eating a piece of cake for most people is very easy. They like it. You want a piece of cake? Yeah, I love a piece of cake. Pull someone's leg. To pull someone's leg is the next one. I don't know. I think if you pulled somebody's leg literally, that would be quite rude. You just walk up to somebody, pull their leg. So in this literal sense, these things are sort of strange sometimes. But to pull someone's leg is to joke or tease someone. I was just pulling your leg about the broken vase. That's pretty cruel. Maybe it's a priceless break. Maybe it's a priceless vase. And you're teasing or you're joking about breaking their vase. Maybe you're in, I don't know, a museum. You're like, I just broke that vase. But you're just joking. To spill the beans. Would you spill the beans? To disclose a secret. Example, she spilled the beans about the upcoming project. So the upcoming project, I guess, was a secret. And she told people about it, so she spilled the beans. What about you? How's your English going? Come on. Tell me. Spill the beans. What's the next one? Under the weather. So if you're under the weather, you're feeling ill or you're feeling sick. So what does that mean? If you're actually under the weather, we're usually under the weather. But what kind of weather? Under the weather. What does this mean? He's been under the weather lately and hasn't come to work. So he's been feeling sick and hasn't come to work. He's been feeling under the weather. Poor soul. Hopefully it gets better. I don't know. Do you think he's really sick or do you think he just wants to stay home and play video games? To burn the midnight oil. So if you're working late, you're burning the midnight oil. To work late into the night, right? So an example, she had to burn the midnight oil to finish her thesis. I think we're going to do a little dive into what these things mean. But I think back in the day, what you used to do is you used to have these lanterns, right? That burned oil. So maybe that's the midnight oil. Next project for you guys is to sort of find your own idioms and find your own things that are interesting, maybe in your own culture, and share them with us. I'm going to do a little bit of research and figure out where these come from, because these are fascinating. To burn the midnight oil, to work late into the night. Next one, kick the bucket. This one is good. I don't know where it comes from, but it means to die. And it's in an informal way. So you don't say somebody who's very prestigious or somebody who's very close to you. What happened to that guy? Well, he kicked the bucket. So here's a example for you. Unfortunately, our old cat kicked the bucket last night. Somebody would probably say that, and they might not be affectionate to their cat, probably. So to kick the bucket, you're literally kicking a bucket, or you're kicking the bucket, and I don't know which bucket it is that you've kicked, but what happens after kicking that bucket is you're no longer with us. You're dead, unfortunately. So don't kick the bucket anytime soon, guys. Live a long, prosperous life. Break the ice. So everybody knows what ice is, I imagine. Everybody knows what break is. So if you break the ice, you're initiating conversation in a social situation or a social setting. So I guess ice in this sense is the rigidity of silence. So you're like, hey, how are you guys? I'd like to initiate a conversation. I'd like to break the ice. It's getting uncomfortable. So he told a joke to break the ice at the party. Makes sense? How everybody's, sitting there. They're probably very uncomfortable. He tells a joke, maybe everybody laughs, and the ice is all of a sudden broke. Next one, by the book. Which one? Which book? Who's written this book? The regulations, the rules in this book are the ones that you're following. So the manager likes to do everything by the book. So that manager doesn't improvise so much, but he has this book. It has rules, and he follows those rules very strictly. So you too probably have to as well. To cut corners. Okay, so do something in the easiest or cheapest way, often sacrificing quality. So let's get into the example. They cut corners during construction, resulting in a faulty building. So in this sense, they've done things easy, cheap, and the quality is not so good probably. So they cut corners during their construction. And the faulty building, the inspectors came and said, this building is no good. You have to do some of this stuff over. So if you don't cut corners and you do something with quality, then you're probably going to get some better results than this construction team did. Next one, You jump on the bandwagon. I don't know. Does anybody have any references to bandwagon? Like, what is a bandwagon? I feel like one of those bandwagons is like back in the West, in the U.S., if you've seen any one of those Western movies, and everybody's jumping on the bandwagon to move west, young man or young woman. All right, so to join others in doing something that is currently popular. So you're jumping on the bandwagon. Many companies are jumping on the bandwagon of sustainable practices. So this means that sustainable practices right now are very popular. So companies are trying to get into the mix. They say, let's do this sustainable practices thing because it's popular. Let's jump on the bandwagon. Let's join others because it's popular. Next one, you keep something at bay. So I'm going to look this one up because at bay, I'm not quite sure what it means. Is it a bay, like an ocean? A bay? Like body of water? I'm not sure. But anyways, you prevent something from happening to keep something at bay. So regular exercise can keep stress at bay. So if you exercise, that sort of keeps stress away. So if you haven't exercised today, maybe you want to just listen to these things and, do a couple push-ups, a couple sit-ups, or something, jumping jacks. And you can do two things at once. You can exercise and you can keep stress at bay. And all the while, you will be learning phrases in English while you're doing it. On the fence. So what have you seen on a fence lately? Once in a while, I see a cat on a fence because cats are cats. Another thing I see on a fence are birds. But when you say that somebody is on the fence, you're sort of undecided between two options. You don't know whether to go on that side of the fence or this side of the fence. So I'm still on the fence about whether to accept the job offer. That means that I haven't decided whether or not I want this job. They've offered me the job, still on the fence. Do I want the job? Do I not want the job? Do I have a job now? Is that job better than this job? Or is unemployment better than this job? I don't know. I'm on the fence, though. I'm undecided between whether I should take this offer or not. And last, I don't know if it's least or not, but we can say last but not least is to take the plunge. What is to plunge? It's an interesting word. I like it. So to commit to a course of action that is risky or challenging. So to plunge into something is usually to dive into something. So you can take a plunge into cold, frigid waters in January to take the polar plunge, right? So she decided to take the plunge and start her own business. So what does this mean, guys? You tell me. So she took the plunge, which means she committed to this course of action. And she started her own business. So she dove into it. She took the plunge. She started and she committed. So there you have it. There are 20 words, 20 phrases that you might find interesting. That next time you bump into these phrases, maybe you'll think about them a little bit more, have an idea about them, or maybe you already knew about them. Anyways, thanks for listening, and we will, we'll be doing something soon. Hope to catch you then. Thanks so much for listening. And if you can, please subscribe. I need subscribers, please.